Riftbound, the newest card game by Riot Games, based upon League of Legends itself. I used to be a League of Legends player for about 10 years, and briefly played the uh, Legends of Runeterra game by Riot Games. And when I noticed they had a card game, I was very interested. I started becoming more and more interested. And when a pre-Rift event for Unleashed hit a local game store near me, I decided, what the hell. So this is my story about how a beginner went into the pre-Rift for Unleashed. The pre-Rift kit that I got was a pre-Rift 5 kit. A pre-Rift kit I actually wanted to play because I really wanted to play the Vi Constructive deck, and so this is a prelude to that. And the remaining 5 packs, I didn't really get a lot of good things. I got a few smallish units, but sadly enough, not too many usable ones. I got a Vex, but I really misplayed her quite a few times. I also got a Ash randomly from the kit, so I used it. The best thing I actually drew was the Hextech Gauntlet. Simply the 3 might, plus the additional effect if you overkill something with 3 might, you can draw. Really made a difference in quite a lot in certain matchups. So yeah, not a lot of big hitters I drew, sadly enough. Certain big hitters also bricked in my hand. I had draw issues, even though I had cards like Lunar Boon, Isolate, and Hextech Gauntlets. Good aggro, but not a lot of defense and limited removal. I, however, was excited to play this Rift. Might have not been the best deck, but gosh darn, I was excited. Matchup 1. A Vi mirror match, actually. It was a real close match. He and I both used a lot of our resources to kill stuff. He was also quite amazed that I got the Hextech Gauntlets, and that card made a lot of difference. Sadly enough, I made a huge misplay. See, he played the Atacon. He killed the Jhin, and he played the Atacon on the battlefield where the Jhin was. I played Ash in response, and after that, I should have used it a bit earlier, but I used Ash as response and saw he had 3 buffing tools. I noticed the Vault Breaker and decided to choose that one, because I forgot Atacon had ganking. If I just remembered Atakan had ganking, I might have won the game because I could have used the Ash ability to discard to make him, well, not discard, but banish the stunning card, the stunning and buff card called Heroic Charge. I could have won. Sadly enough, I didn't. Atakan brought the ruin, and it was eventually a loss, but a very, very close game at the end. Matchup 2. My opponent this time played a mix between Diana and Mastery. He had the Diana Legend and the Diana Champion card. One thing I noticed that I ran out of resources fast. Simply with limited removal, he played the Abandon, and that cost a lot of my runes. I didn't find the draw I needed. He got a good mastery off very early, and I simply could not counter it actually. He had some buffing, he had some debuffing, and sadly enough, neither the Shark Fin nor the Inferno really could make a dent in his team. And that was the end of that game. It was very close till the end. He got the draw he needed, and sadly enough, he overconquered my small little sharks. It was fun. It was fun, but yeah. From this point onwards, I really noticed that resource management became a problem with me. Also, the draw. I didn't really have a lot of draw engines, and while I'm good at aggro, the slapback always hurts more than I can hurt them eventually. Matchup 3. This was a Kazakhs game. Yeah, she had the Kazakhs Legend and the Kazakhs Championship. A really interesting XP strategy going on with the Blood Rose, and eventually a Elder Dragon that scared the bejesus out of me. but she made a crucial misplay. She had enough XP, but didn't use the Blood Rose on the Elder Dragon, which allowed me to close out the game and win it. I noticed that the Viscount really made a difference this game, simply because the 3 extra damage I could easily kill all her units except for the Elder Dragon. And this was a really fun game as well. A close game for my opponents. It was really fun, really well played with the both of us. So yeah. Matchup 4, the Sprite attack. This sadly enough is not the worst game I played, but a frustrating game. My opponent played really well. Um, yeah, it's stacking resource problems. He had an abundance, which again counted one of my few removal spells. I had to use it again to kill one of his units on the battlefield. He turned to dust my front gauntlet before I could actually gain profit of it. Then he also had a combination of Walking Roost plus the Angler Beast, and since most of some of the better units I had, actually the only only units I had were my 2 or less. They were bounced to my hand, so I didn't really had a lot of things anymore on the battlefield. I could claw my way back, but then he played Sprite Burst, and sadly enough, from that point on, I lost the game. I bricked really badly in my hand. I really bricked my hand, so yeah. It was close, it was fun. It was a nail biter till the end, but yeah. Sometimes one draw can make a really big difference, and that I noticed. Matchup 5, Bring the Hammer. My opponent was actually lucky enough to get out of his packs both a Poppy Legend and this Poppy Champion unit as well. But again, like every game I had before, I ran out of resources fast again this time. I couldn't find any draw engines, and sadly enough, almost every time my hand bricked. There was also a combination of spells plus big units he had. He had good buffs, good deep buffs. He had also a Sprite Fountain too. After he killed my units and even his units, he just played the Sprite Fountain and whoop, it's just a sprite, he's ready to conquer a battlefield, and I couldn't really do a lot against it. He was a good player, and sadly enough, this was the only matchup that was a really big loss for me. It wasn't close at all. He played really well. So those were my 5 matches. My observations, the good, even though defensively I had nothing. Offensively, I had good things going. Sharkling with the extra additional costs to get it ready, stack up a Hextech Gauntlet, and it's a Might 8 unit ready to take anything on it. Ready to take anything on. It's quite a steep cost, but since I didn't really had a lot of different good plays, it was the only play I had most of the time when I could play it. And Fern also did really good, really interesting, just a 2-cost ambush with 3 might while you're attacking. A really good card for a Pro-Rift, and then sadly enough, while I didn't really get to play a lot of the Black Rose Dignitary, when I played her, extra rune with a deck that's almost starving for resources is really fun. It's really handy. The bad. I made a ton of misplays. I'm simply enough, I'm a beginner. That's a fact. And as you're a beginner, you'll make a lot of misplays. You're also quite a bit slower than the others. So yeah. I had good aggro, but sadly enough, no defense. I had nothing to protect my frail units. After I could bring the smackdown, sadly enough, the smackdown they brought to me, I couldn't do. I had nothing left most of the times. So yeah, bad resource management is also I had to exhaust a lot of runes. I had to place back a lot of runes back into my rune deck. So and that hampered quite a lot of the strategy. I didn't really have a lot of big hitters. I had a few, but sadly enough, most of the time they didn't really do anything at that point. Sadly enough, the five Peacekeeper was a good one. The what's the other card called? Ultras of Poro, well, handy. Sadly enough, didn't do a lot of for me as well. I had Revna in the deck. Sadly enough, I didn't play Revna a single time. Lord Broadmain was the better higher cost unit I had, but sometimes even he didn't make a difference. So yeah. And then the added fact of not a lot of removal and buffing spells. The matchups I ran into all had buffing or debuffing spells. I had only a few. They got bounced back almost every time I used them in those situations. So yeah. I also didn't really use the Vibe built over Enforcer ability, the ready exhauster to ready unit. Simply enough, most of the time I did not do 3 or more excess damage, which made her ability quite useless for me. But it might be useful ability sometimes. Sadly enough, it wasn't useful for me at that time. So yeah, I went 1 and 4. I had tons of fun, but sadly enough, I couldn't bring it home this time. But I'm looking forward to play some more Riftbound and participating in the other pre-release events coming when the other expansions hit. This is actually the start of my Riftbound journey, as well as my YouTube journey. I would like to thank you all for watching, and see you.